Normally, I don't usually talk about some stuff, but, well, today there's going to be a lot to cover. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Browns Comparisons podcast during this month of April. And first of all, I want to go ahead and wish you guys a happy Autism Awareness Month. As for me, I actually know has some family members that have autism, so me going ahead and just wishing you guys this and wish you guys the best. I really hope that people can recognize that autism isn't just a disability. It's just a different ability that people pretty much judge all the damn time. Like AFL judges it horribly. Like I'm saying it straight up. People just really, well, they kind of don't. I don't know. It's just right now. There's so much that we have to go ahead and cover this month because some of you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, this might be a good thing," but sometimes it's good, stuff is bad. And of course, this month you got to go ahead and hop into our OFL segment first. And this one, season 28 is fully in swing as we have entered like mid-season point. Let me just pull up the from the resources page. I don't usually wasn't okay. I actually do have the leak sheet. So far, there are teams that have already went ahead and they've punched their tickets into the playoffs. The Sky Kings, the Toros. I know. I know. Wait, the Ducks and the Bruisers are 6-0. I did not know. Overall, there are some people that are just going ahead and, well, trying to make a run. I'm gonna say you guys straight up, just right now. Some stuff is looking decently positive, and some teams are just really hyped up, and other teams, yeah. Now I'm just looking around, looking, what the heck happened? Like, what the heck happened? And that's first, as we go into the, as we really just go ahead and we dive first into the OWC, the Ducks and Bruisers, surprisingly 6-0. I did not notice this. Each led by good quarterbacks. The Ducks led by Chimpanzee Slayer, who leads the league in passing touchdowns after the first 5 weeks. They really need to update the passing TD stuff. God damn, bro. That's all I can say. And then, other than that, Young Relly following up his VB winning season with his return season. He wants to head back to host the OWC at home, and I can understand why. I mean, this man, he's QB'd in pretty much. He had the last 5 Victory Bowls representing the OEC, and so far, he just got his first one over the Roblox Warriors, and the Warriors are already suffering what could possibly be a Victory Bowl hangover, as they're 2-4. I mean, to be fair, there are just other teams that, like right now, this year's just been really shaky. Nighthawks are 1-5. The Greats surprisingly are 1-5, which I actually could have assumed that they should have been a good team. I mean, I thought that Matthew 0709 got himself a good squad. That's what I thought. But apparently, his offense couldn't have basically kind of failed him. I mean, Matthews done pretty good, 29 touchdowns and 5 picks, but yeah, kind of awkward to a certain extent. And then, meanwhile, the Bruisers once again the 6-0 team, led by South, and this man, people underestimate him, and I think they underestimate him well. 27 catches. Not 27 catches. Dang it, man. 27 passing touchdowns against 4 picks. I'm getting stats mixed up, bro. Either way, he's been very efficient this year. I have to go ahead and give a shout out to him, leading a 6-0 team. The Raiders, 5-1, with the return of LMJ at QB. And he's thrown 17 touchdowns against 5 picks officially. I don't know what the stat books say, but he is one of the better rushers in the league. I mean, he doesn't run as much as guys such as Lilly or Chimpanzee Slayer, but he still gets the job done. Meanwhile, the Eagles, their QB situation's been interesting. They had M4 QB a little bit, but he's been struggling with some lag issues, some internet issues. So Danny Woodhead, 39, went ahead and he took over, and he's been somewhat decent. I mean, the Eagles are 4-1, I think, officially. Green Bay, a team that I basically now personally hate because, literally, they got those players on it. Most of those players on that team hate me. I don't know. It's just I got beef with them. But yeah, they're surprisingly in the playoff line after starting off 0-3. The Freedom basically are one win away from what I've been told to clinching their first ever franchise playoff berth. And I think the arrival of Miss Drew coming in and literally taking over, I think it went ahead and with some proper cues made and said, I think so far there's been a balance. And well, yeah, the Rams basically got off to a 3-2 start with JB Hunter with JB Hunter months right keeping the first 5 weeks, but JB Hunter just got suspended, and now Rocky 17 is gonna be taking over. I heard he just got a win, so they're 4-2 right now, very on the verge for making the playoffs. The Turks, a team, Rocky's old team, led by Calder, went ahead and they are doing decent. 3-2. They're in the playoff hunt, with Calder leading the way with 31 passing touchdowns against 6 picks. The Spartans 2-3. 9 J Vaughn is gonna have to go ahead and is trying to clean some stuff up. I can't blame him. It's just been a slow season for season 28. It's just been weird but decent. I don't know. It's not like most seasons that passing touchdowns are just high. It's been defense has just been has been getting back on track. The New York, led by Kosh, that's a good team to watch. They're 2-3, but they're in the playoff hunt. The Vikings, who started off very poorly, they're back in the playoff hunt, surprisingly, and they basically are led by Hollow Sharky. Yeah, I was gonna say I keep forgetting his name sometimes, but yeah, he and those Sharkies out in the Blue Steel City in Texas, they have been cleaning up. They've been cleaning up themselves pretty well after going from Hollow to Chaos to back to Hollow. So hopefully I'm gonna say the Blue Steel City Vikings that's led by the Sharky clan. I don't know. I just like to go ahead. I think that the Sharky name is just kind of, it's funny to say, but it's also kind of cute. I mean, wait, what? Yeah. All right, the Warriors, once again, the team I did mention having that hangover. They're 2-3. The Sunbirds, not really one of the. They're 2-4, and they had Zach Sueños, aka Nike Strike, go ahead and QB the first 4 weeks, and then he got traded away to the Knights, and he's basically has been reported done for the year. Or actually, he's basically has been reported retired. I'm not sure how that works. Let's see the grades once again. I mentioned 1-5. Matthews has been performing decent. I just think his team's just been starting to fail him. It's weird. And then the Nighthawks 1-5. The team that got the most hype ultimately didn't live up to it, mainly because Rocky struggled, and then they went ahead and they had Era take over. He was like, "Screw it, I'm gonna do this myself." Then, and he basically only QB'd 4 weeks before getting his job taken over by Clan. So that's very interesting to talk about. And then meanwhile, in the EC, once again, the Sky Kings are in the playoffs. The Toros, a surprising team from last year, they're basically in the playoffs. The Raptors, a team that was in the playoffs last year, they go ahead and they got Frank 8264 at QB, and he got a good makeover. Even though he's far sketched from basically that week 3 performance that he performed kind of indecent, but he's just been performing like a league quarterback. But meanwhile, they're 4-2 in the playoff hunt. The Thunderbirds 4-2. I can't really blame their positioning because really they get the toughest schedule in the league, so it's not really easy for them, but they've been playing more close games than they have in a while, so that's very interesting to go ahead and note. But hopefully, Thunderbirds are gonna go ahead and come back. Let's go T-Birds. That's my team, aka the team I was driving into, and plus, come on. So hopefully, you can go ahead and get back on there. Phoenix surprisingly 3-3, a team that was that last year they were in the playoff hunt and they were led by a quarterback that, well, let's just say wasn't much of a runner guy, I think. Yeah, if you guys have to go ahead and just pull up the stat sheet here. This is just so bad. Just the point of the freaking stat sheet with loads. Okay, yeah, they went ahead and they had Matthew 0709 at QB. Well, this year they went ahead and they brought in a dual threat quarterback by the name of Lily 145, and she's showing that even with some time away, she's still playing at a high level. 28 touchdowns against 5 picks. Shout out to Lily and the Phoenix Snowhawks. Were 3-2, but now I've been told they're 3-3. They had 3 extrams QBing, but then they just went ahead and they just got a makeover. Had to go ahead and get some. They got a term HC, and they went ahead and they brought in the Tylers. So they're 3-3 technically. The Punishers, the first team to win the OFL Victory Bowl ever. I'm saying ever. Like, go back to, I'm talking 2013 ever. They are in the playoff hunt at 3-2. Shout out to Miles, though. I mean, 31 touchdowns against 7 picks. He's keeping this team afloat. The Jackrabbits, a team that whose colors need to go ahead and need to get dripped out. They're going ahead and they're back in the hunt, and they went ahead and they brought in a very good quarterback mid-season. moving on from Hades, who was doing pretty decent. I'll give him that. He was starting to clean up the ant a bit, but then week 3 he threw 7 picks. Hashtag Rip Bozo burnout. So they went ahead and they brought back. So they went ahead and brought in longtime Firecats Hall of Famer and former Bolts QB Mac ATL. He's back. Basically the man that trademarked the Warful thing in the first place. So he's back throwing. In his first game back, he just used 7 touchdowns against 4 picks. Not 4 picks. 3 picks. Yeah, I'm bringing stats wrong. Meanwhile, the Firecats, they've been somewhat of a mixed bag. I mean, Beast QT has went ahead and he's thrown a very interesting amount of passing touchdowns. I can say that. But they had weak intakes take over for one game, but we did decent. But I don't know how that went. But anyway, they're 2-4. The Panthers, led by Tri-Fi, who are 2 or 3 with him because he missed week 1 due to a suspension. He's back, and well, let's just say the guy really just has a really tough schedule. But despite the struggles, he's only thrown. Basically, he's been having a very efficient year, picking up where he's left off. 20 touchdowns. He has 1 pick officially. They haven't really updated the stats yet. The Dragons 2-4. They're led by Kyretra, who's thrown 30 touchdowns against 15 picks. But it's obviously clear that they're kind of doing a little trolling. I'm not sure how Dragons work, but they do. But they are going ahead and they're getting some fun. Like, if they don't make the playoffs, at least they went ahead and brought in some fun. Because there are some quarterbacks who just play just for the fun of it, and some other quarterbacks who just play to grind the league. And right now, Dradson's one of those play to fun win teams, I think. But then again, it's Kyretra. And Kyretra, he can take AFL seriously, but OFL, I don't think he doesn't take as much seriously. I'm not sure how that works. I'm about to ask him. Meanwhile, I really do not want to talk about this next team, which is the Miami Bolts, who are literally high-profile garbage. Like, they are the literally certified version of trash. I mean, literally Invictus. Literally on my last stream I did for OFL. I literally just, I'm disappointed in him. I'm very disappointed in him. You're supposed to be a quarterback. 15 touchdowns against 19 interceptions. Get off the QB platform, my guy. I'm sorry. No. But whatever. That's him. Meanwhile, the Huskies, they're 2-4, but they've been juggernauting between 2 QBs because literally week 1 they had Hunter CLX QBing, and then week 2 they had Imperf QBing a little bit because Hunter ran late, and Hunter's been doing decent with 19 touchdowns against 2 picks, but they went ahead and they had to bring in Sean XTX, the Hall of Fame quarterback with the Rams, and he went ahead and he's done the best he can. He's QB 2 weeks, but he's faced some very difficult teams. But shout out to Sean XTX. But from what I've been told, they are 2-4. I think mainly because of that week 6 beatdown they had against the Bruisers, who I seriously can't believe who are a very interesting team to watch. I'm not sure how that goes, so whatever. Other than that, then we go to the DC Knights, who are 1-5, led by Wood It's Snowing, and I would like to address that Wood and his issue with bringing in girls to help play his team, it needs to be addressed. I'm sorry, it's just I can't. I really can't address this thing because, well, yeah, because he just brings it. Like, I said, he's just bringing in some. Let's just say he and him, he and bringing those. I'm not good. I'm not going into certain addressing of this, but yeah, it happens. Meanwhile, Wood is he's tried out his decency, but he's been playing. It's been somewhat decent to watch him. I mean, I can tell you straight up. I mean, even though the Knights are 1-5, they went ahead and they have brought in some good players. Like they went ahead and they brought in one of the. They went ahead and they had Mallory, but let's just say, but she should be. But what I've been told, she's been put on the trade block. But they also went ahead and they had a few other people, such as like they had what's they had Ella from IFA. She won Defensive Player of the Year in season 5, aka my season. Like I literally won Media of the Year that season. Like I might go ahead and might put up the grind for it, so stay tuned to that. But amazingly, and his undrafted player, I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure. Basically, never mind that. It's just I'm stressing over something that literally I can't judge. Literal, I'm just gonna say a little fact. If Wood wants to go ahead and bring in female players for his team, he can do that. But I'm not sure how where it's gonna get him. But right now, the Knights are 1-5, not because of it, but because of his issues, and plus the fact that he literally got destroyed by. Like I'm just saying straight, he literally got destroyed. Like I'm not saying like just like I'm saying like obliterated by a team called the Olympia Sky Kings, aka Young Relly came into town, and basically the former Nats QB went ahead and just completely obliterated them. I think the final score of that game was like 103-19, which was like a blowout. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure what's probably gonna see is like, what the heck are you talking about, Brandon? I don't know. And meanwhile, the Knights are on 6, which I'm pretty sure at the MIP season of one Cursa was kind of flukish. But then again, I think there's something called the MIP curse. It's just literally usually there's an MIP curse. I mean, there's one in AFL because literally, I think like Lego on it and he got suspended. Then he had some issues in season 9. Came back season 10, really has it, but he's came back strong, so he's trying to break that MIP curse. I know, Josiah won it, but then let's just say he had some, but he QB the season, didn't make the playoffs, got suspended, but QB the team that made it to the playoffs, but got basically kind of upset by a Dolphins thing. We're gonna get to AFL later, and then Josiah went on 10, but now right now it's just I think there's an MIP curse. I'm not sure how it's gonna work. If I do win MIP, I'm gonna retire. I'm just gonna say it straight up. I'm not gonna suffer an MIP curse. You feel me? I'm not. Like, no. It's just, it scares me. PTSD from seeing other teams struggle is my one weakness. Either way, yeah. It's just been it's been an interesting season. But At this rate, I'm not sure how this is really gonna work, but I think possibly the Rattlers and Knights are probably gonna go toe to toe. Maybe maybe I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping that the Rattlers go ahead and they get a win, because if they do, it's gonna be the first season I've seen that no one has gone winless. Like every season been in OFL, there's been a winless team. So go out to the Rattlers if they do get a win. I wish them the best, because it usually tends to hate on teams that are literally trash. I'm not sure. Meanwhile, we have to go ahead and go to AFL though, and that's been very interesting to go ahead and talk about, because honestly, it's been the Finleys is my MVP campaign has arrived in the AFL, and for me, I officially support this. So one of our minor sponsors, you and I, they aren't officially sponsoring it, so they're not an official sponsor yet. But Finleys is my MVP. Is supported by the Bounce Comparisons podcast. Mark that on my thing. Either way, it's been a very interesting season. At best, I can say it. That first starts off with the fact that one, Schnoozle, Sins, and Kyretra are just literally so far it's just been a pass. It's been a bit of a passing thing. Sins following up his comeback player of the year season with an even better season. Schnoozle pop uh basically a headstrong player for comeback player of the year. Like he's driven into it. Defeats Yale. He's back. And I have a feeling he might be able to pass 3,000 passing yards this year. It's just right now it's been a weird season for him. And also for the Lord Pred, who we're not gonna really talk about much, but either way, playoff wise, the standings for week 8 are updated, and from what I've been told, for what's been confirmed is that right now the Ravens, Jaguars, Colts, Lions, Panthers, and Giants, and also the Eagles, I think, they are officially out of playoff contention. So I think so are the what's that one team? I keep forgetting what's their name. I think the Broncos are, but I'll agree it's been keeping his head afloat. But I mean, I think they're doing 5 or 2-6. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the conference is. I'm not even sure. I don't even know who the hell is eliminated. So that's gonna be interesting. Either way, the Dolphins, who I assumed weren't gonna make the playoffs, are back. Are somehow back in the playoff hunt. I'm gonna say it straight up. Even though this, even though I'm saying this Dolphins got off to a rough start, they figured it out. They're now 4-4 and in the playoff hunt. Like seriously, it's surprising. Chiefs are still in the playoff hunt at 4-4. And then the Browns in the playoff hunt at 4-4. I really hope they can go in and go out. Hashtag cool. Hopefully you suffer the MIP curse. The Bills 6-2 and very well and have a good chance of making the playoffs. They probably just need one. They need a win to seal it in. As so does the Titans. They also need a win to seal it in. Steelers lead their division. Also have the third seed and currently own the third seed if they do clinch. And from the looks of it, that looks like that they are. It's really just up to them and the Browns at this point. I'm really hoping that the Steelers do make it in. And meanwhile, the Raiders, led by Lego, 5-3, and he just got a win, so he's now officially 6-3. So he's actually going for the first time, and the first time you've seen it, a team led by Olego Plays _1 is going to the playoffs. I'm officially scared. Like I'm just weird. I'm freaked out. Patriots are 6-2. Texans are 7-1. But and those two teams are for sure in the playoff hunt. They basically have both clinched. Meanwhile, in the NFC, the Bears, Saints, and Rams are fighting for the 7th seed. I can confirm that a win for the. I'm gonna say it straight up: a win for the win for the Falcons should have been clinched. The Seahawks have officially clinched. The 49ers have officially clinched. The Washington's clinched at has a surprising record of 7-1. The Buccaneers are 5-3. I mean, in their division, I'm looking at their team. It's just between them, the Falcons, and the Saints because the Panthers are out of contention. So if the Bucks do win a game, they are officially in the playoffs, as well as the Falcons. Meanwhile, the Vikings and Bears. Meanwhile, I'm gonna say the NFC North. Okay, the Eagles aren't. They're still in the playoff. No, yeah, the Lions are still in the playoff. I'm not sure how they are, but 2-6, and the division's just been very tight. AFL's just been very interesting. Season 11 Pro Bowl's been announced for the NFC. Quarterback QBing is going to be Kyretra. Halo Venti will be the center, but he is suspended, so there's a most likely chance that we'll be seeing Biker Roll take over his spot. Reese goes ahead and makes it in at running back, like he always does. Chaga and Zach make it in at tight end. Shout out to those guys. Also, Marlon, if you see this, not my tight end of the year, noob. Math, Kodak, Eddie, Slat, and Dramatic Load, two guys I actually did expect to make the playoffs. They go ahead and they do make it in, so not make it in at the playoffs, make it in the Pro Bowl. But yeah, they make it in. I'm not surprised that they have. Math makes it in at DB. Chugga makes it in at DB. Vlone Jones makes it in at DB. And for him, I'm not really surprised. Skyrecha makes it in at DB again. And my boy Emerald Skills. So for him, yes sir. Yes sir, one of my homies. He officially made his first playoff. Not playoff. He made his first official Pro Bowl. That's my boy. AK, let's go dog. Linebackers, they have Jaden and counter on defensive end. You have Slant and Elts. So hopefully, if we do see the Pro Bowl though, we might see. Okay, yeah, it's probably not gonna happen because if it does, Reese is gonna be like, no, he's not gonna allow it. But if we do get to see him on Manning in the Pro Bowl, I'll fuck with it. Might write it down. Yes, I'm gonna cuss a little bit on this one. So AFC wise, you have Finley. You have I'm not gonna go ahead and say the guy's name, but yeah, Finley, he makes it a QB, but the guy I'm gonna say that makes it at center, his name's gonna be kind of inappropriate. So I'm sorry, my dude, but congratulations for making the Pro Bowl. Cole makes it in at running back. Boo. Sig makes it in at tight end, and the boy Cookie Legend 21, the Smurf himself, he makes it in also in at tight end. Dell, Sarf, Fake, Tears, and Ooh Carter. Ooh Carter also won the boys and as well as Tears. They go ahead and they make it in the Pro Bowl at wide receiver. Meanwhile, in defensive back, Finley's got the most votes, but he's in at the Pro Bowl. Tyler, he's in. It's Jackson, surprisingly, makes it in. I didn't vote for him. not my DB of the year. TRC, I think True Raptor Claus. Okay, yeah, True Raptor Claus. He makes it at DB, and then Fridge just makes it at DB. Rookie QB it made it to the Pro Bowl. Congratulations. I mean, meanwhile, linebacker we see Corey Vet, and I don't throw picks, aka Cole. Cole, you're not my linebacker of the year. And defensive end, we had Snivy, and the surprising one of them all, Rice Patty himself, went ahead and he made it in. So, congratulations, Rice Patty. Yes, sir. He makes it into the Pro Bowl. And meanwhile, there's just been it's overall there's not really much to just talk about. And well, yeah. And meanwhile, we also got to talk about the IFA since I want to bring them back into the segment. They introduced passing yards this season, so I'm very, very, very. I'm saying very. I'm just saying I'm a bit. Okay, yeah, I'm very excited to go ahead and basically. There's my throat today. Just yeah, they went ahead and they came in. Sorry, it's my throat. But yeah, they went ahead and they haven't. They have been basically in for the well, let's just say it's been a very interesting season to just to be clear. Let me go ahead and pull up the IFA thing, which should be up. Seriously. I don't know how it's working. Thanks for resources. But yeah, they went ahead and they added passing yards this year. And man, alright. Oh, there it is in the league sheet. I couldn't find it, but they went ahead and they also added a few things. So first of all, shout out to the fact that they went ahead and they added a couple of expansion teams in the IEC. They added Shibuya City Storm, which I went ahead and streamed their first ever game. So shout out to them for making their debut, and we also are going to be seeing the arrival of the Brisbane Bisons. They're also in there, but they had a rougher head start. Meanwhile, we're seeing two new teams suit up. In the IWC, we introduced to the Calgary Destroyers and the Atlantic City Vikings, who I think are just a replica. I'm having suspicion from the Blue Steel City Vikings. I'm not sure how it works. They could have named it better, but yeah. They went ahead and they added new stats in, so they went ahead and added passing yards. So like these are just accurate as from the season opener. Mikey's leads league in passing yards. With okay, no, it was actually Mohamed Sanu with 559 passing yards. And then I don't know. It's just I think the last people having named this after NFL players are just it's very interesting. Mikey's clutch leads league in passing touchdowns, 9 touchdowns against 1 interception. Hey man, there's some people. Pops from the Storm, 5 touchdowns against 1 picks. Chad Bofa, 3 touchdowns, no picks. So it's been very interesting to go ahead and note. So well, yeah. Either way, it's basically an up and coming new season, and for me, I like this one. It's super valid. Meanwhile, rushing stuff, they even had rushing yards too. So, thinking rushing yards, Norfolk's Clutch, rushing touchdowns, Subway's Suffocator from the Orcas, and receiving wise, receiving touchdowns goes to Sickalade, and he also leads in receiving. No, actually, it goes to Patrick's of the Cobras, and then receptions it goes to I'm Jackson. That's center stats. Sack wise, let's just say Jensen and Dream Vills are in there, and defensive wise, a bunch of people have landed themselves an interception. So shout out to them. Other than that, that's basically it from my sports thing. I mean, HGVB still going, having their season. I'm not sure if I can talk about any of this. Honestly, ran out of leagues to talk about. Oh yeah, ACFL has just been the AFL collegiately, I should say. They went ahead and they've been playing like, let's just say they've been playing like, I'm gonna say sure. They've been playing like a very rather, I should say, somewhat interesting team. All right. Either way, top of the rankings, we do see the top spot goes to Missouri. Head coach. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I knew that Yoshi. I'm gonna say the Louisville Cardinals dynasty should have gotten it when Honestly stayed, but alas, rescinded it, and so it's been gone. So it died before it became an actual thing. I do miss it though. Rip Bozo. Rest in peace, Louisville Cardinals, original OG Louisville Cardinals dynasty. But that doesn't mean it's not officially dead. No, no, no. It came back to life as the Missouri Tigers, and they're 7-0. Like literally, they're undefeated. They went from losing. Yoshi went from losing to winning. Like I'm just gonna say, Shub. This is the same guy. This is the same team that 2 seasons ago, when I was in ACFL, scored a touchdown on when they were the Louisville Cardinals. So, shout out to them. Kentucky. Oh yeah, Oklahoma 6-1, Kentucky 6-1, Washington, the team I actually assistant coach for, they're 6-1. UCLA 6-1, Michigan State 5-2, Penn State 5-2, and then we have Kansas, Iowa State, and a few other teams. Let's just say this is very interesting. There are just some teams I could just basically mention, but honestly, they're just really tiring to talk about. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let's just say have myself basically a big oof. Meanwhile, other than that, we're basically kind of seeing some very interesting stuff. And in that, it's basically generally it. So yeah. I mean, looking at this, oh, there's not really much to really just go ahead and talk about in my basics forms. But yeah, this is just basically all the stuff we basically are going to go over. And also, once again, happy Autism Awareness Month. But this final one I'm going to talk about is really just it's nothing related to Roblox. It's been much of something I just found out via from this is basically via for some people that I basically know. And it's basically about some just been some incidents that just be has been recording. This is basically well I've been told from some sources that April 24th is what people are going to go ahead and use as an advantage day for some stuff that's very illegal. So anything involving stuff I'm just gonna say called SA, PEDO, and the bad version of rap. I'm not gonna go ahead and say the actual stuff, but if you do not know what I'm saying, I won't go ahead and say it in the comments either. So because I'm not really want to talk about it because I think it's a bad idea. So yeah. Other than that, watch out for those things. If you were able to abbreviate those stuff, then good for you. Other than that, I'm just gonna say watch out for that. It's gonna be a big, highly issue. Well, yeah. There's other things you also have to go ahead and talk about. I mean, also the NFL draft is coming up, and I'm also gonna go ahead and give them my takes. So we're gonna be talking about a lot of things. And people are going ahead are looking at some ideas. And there's some people that are looking at some ideal picks. And you know. And I'm looking at some stuff really right now. Hmm. Alright, now we have it after some really interesting stuff to talk about. Alright. Meanwhile, there's been some ideal stuff that I think about we're gonna be going with. So I'm just gonna say it straight up. This is what I had to think. I mean, what I think of what each team needs to go ahead and pick. So we need to start off with the Ravens. With basically, they're a team that I think the just something that they need to address is wide receiver, and the reason why for that it's because I've seen the issues. I'm just gonna say straight up, Marquise Brown's a good wide receiver. I have no doubt that this man could be a stud, can be a star, he can be a potential NFL star. But the problem is the running how Baltimore's system isn't really wide receiver friendly. It's like Carolina to a certain extent, but Carolina was somewhat wide receiver friendly because they got wide receivers involved. Other than that, the Ravens couldn't attract free agents. Like Anthony got a better offer from the Baltimore Ravens. Juju ended up still signing back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just gonna say straight up, if someone that you gave a better offer went ahead and signed back with your divisional rival, that the team that he started his career with, that's how you know you're down bad. And the Ravens couldn't attract any decent wide receivers. But the only guy they were to attack is Sammy Watkins. But then again, Sammy Watkins isn't really much of a wide receiver one anymore. He's more like he's a wide receiver two at best. The reason why I'm saying he's basically coming up is because, well, yeah. So you need to figure out how to be more wide receiver friendly. And if they couldn't land a good wide receiver, I mean, with all due respect, they have some good wide receivers now. Got some decent wide receivers. I mean, they have Watkins, they have Brown, and they have Devin Duvernay. Add another receiver, one that's friendly, that have a friendly system to, and you're good. Like, you're straight up good. Now for the Bills, I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one, and I must say they need to go ahead and focus on the defensive line. I mean, I was gonna shit. They're locked at QB because they took a huge gamble on Josh Allen, gave him a supporting cast to work with. Yes, week one there was some. Yes, season one there was some struggles, but the next season he did better. Now this season he literally looks like an NFL MVP. I mean, picks wise, he would need to tone down on it. I mean, let's face it. He would have needed to tone down the picks, but a huge gamble for a quarterback that went ahead, and that gamble highly paid off. So I'll give the Bills that. Wide receivers, they have Stephon Diggs. They have a somewhat good wide receiver too in Cole Beasley, who basically had played on a broken leg during the Bills' playoff run, which I have to say, the former Cowboys receiver, that's very impressive. So kudos to the guy for going ahead and sucking up and literally playing like a grown man. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to him. Meanwhile, they have, tight end wise, they're okay at, because they have Dawson Knox. I think he's still there. And Dawson has been playing good. They have a decent offensive line, decent secondary, decent linebackers, decent special teams. The defensive line just needs someone that can just perk them up and take them to the next level. I mean, Jerry West, I think if he's still there, he's okay-ish. Like, they have some decent contributors, right? But we need AJ Espinoza. Well, not Jerry West. Jerry Hughes. And he's in a contract year. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it straight up. They need, basically, someone that needs to go ahead and address, basically, the defensive line. Jerry Hughes has been a long-time veteran, and he could be gone. They just need to go ahead and also just adjust all that stuff. Now, from Cincinnati, this is a team that has plenty of holes, but they have a quarterback set in Joe Burrow. Do they have... So that's one. They have a running back set in Joe Mixon if he comes back healthy. Good wide receivers. Decent tight ends. But then again, I'm also going to say it straight up. Joe Mixon was also injury. Also had some injuries, so they might need to get a running back. But that's not the issue. Defensive line, they need to go ahead and work on it because Geno Atkins isn't going to can only do so much. Linebacker wise, they need to go ahead and upgrade it a bit, and defensive back wise, hopefully they have a young core that can develop. But we have to go to the defensive line. That's been horrendous. I mean, Burrow literally. How many times was Burrow even sacked? I don't even I can count. God knows how many times the man was sacked. But either way, he went ahead, and literally the bad defensive line literally resulted, really just helped in him tearing his ACL. So, rip Bozo. He basically was missed in Cincinnati. So now at this rate, they need to go ahead and really address the offensive line. The good part about this is that luckily they can put tackle Jonah Williams, a former first round pick. He can go ahead and he can play right tackle for sure. And they can put newly acquired veteran O-lineman Riley Reef. They can put him at guard. So that's 2 punches. And then center, I'm not sure who's there, but hopefully they're good. So just left tackle, they need to go ahead and at least need to please address. I'm not sure who it is. They might take that Penny Sewell guy, but he basically had said that it would be a dream come true if he can come back to play for Justin Herbert. So we'll see. And meanwhile, let's just go to the Cleveland Browns, who basically were a surprise team and just literally was hashtag shock the world for me. I literally kind of drooled that one. I was scared when the Browns made the playoffs, and then when the Browns destroyed the Steelers, that's when I realized I can't make fun of the Browns anymore because they went from bad all the way to good. So I mean, they're already a playoff team. But I mean, they have a good quarterback set. They have Mayfield. They have wide receivers. They have tight ends. They have a very decent alignment. They have a very decent O-line. So offense is good. Defensive backs, hopefully Grant Delpit comes back, and he's basically gonna go ahead and kick butt and take name. So hopefully getting him back is going to be a boost for the Browns. Defensive line wise, they're somewhat decent. I mean, Myles Garrett has been playing like a top overall pick. But they might need to go ahead and almost adjust the need there. But the main part is just been linebacker. I mean, they lost longtime guy Joe Schobert to Jacksonville, and that very hurts. So the Browns just need that middle linebacker just to get them going. And who knows? They may get it. Now the Broncos. This is a team that I have to think about. Because you see, this is because my thing. Because for the Broncos, they have tight ends, they have wide receivers, their offensive line is decent. Running back, I'm not sure how that's going to go. I mean, they still have Melvin Gordon, but Melvin Gordon's shaky, so I'm not sure how that is. They have a good defensive back core. Chubb, hopefully Von Miller is going to be back. Bradley Chubb goes ahead, and he's back, so that 2018 main force of Miller and Chubb is going to be basically back on. So now you're basically looking at pretty much defensive. Let's go ahead and look at pretty much defensive line. They're decent. People are saying they're just take a quarterback, but I just really think that their issue is just really at running back because Melvin Gordon's very shaky, and that's just this is just my opinion. They might take a running back, they might not. But we shall see. But I really believe that Drew Lock can go ahead and make this can have a very good season. It's just now it's up to him to go ahead and show that he's basically has improved from last year. Which I'm hoping that he did because the Broncos literally were just one of the most QB unlucky teams. Basically last season. I mean, when Locke got injured, then you have to go ahead and go with the backup, and the backup gets injured, so you have to go with the third stringer. And it comes to the point that all the quarterback room gets injured, and you go with the emergency quarterback. And they have to go up against one of the best teams in the league, aka the Saints. So that's big oof. So I think the Broncos just need a running back, in my opinion. I mean, I won't be surprised if they take a quarterback, but that's just but my thing. My take is that Denver must take a quarterback. Now let's go on to the Texans. And this team I really need to go ahead and talk about. Because it's come to the point. I'm gonna say it straight up. There's the classic rule of usually new head coaches want a new quarterback. But this team wants to build around Deshaun Watson. And Watson right now isn't happy. And he wants out. And then there comes those allegation cases. Hashtag poor guy. So hopefully he's gonna be back next season. But at this rate, Deshaun Watson's probably it's probably safe to go ahead and just look at some other options because at this rate, the problem is the Texans won't have to. They're gonna have an even tougher situation to be drafted in because now you're entering a draft that they basically have no first round pick or a second round pick. All thanks to the Laremy Tunsil and Kenny Stills trades. So offensive line wise, you need to go ahead and address. That needs to be addressed. Wide receivers, you have Will Fuller, who had a breakout year before he got suspended. And you also have Brandon Cooks. Another good wide receiver. Running back wise, I'm not sure how that's going to work. Because I'm not sure. Defensive end, they're going to need to fill a gap at defensive end. They're going to go ahead and need to. I'm not sure if Darren Phillips is still in Houston. He might be. You need to fill in the gap at linebacker. They have so many holes when you just think about it. And even if, I'm going to say straight up, and if Watson proves himself not guilty, which is something he's saying he's basically is innocent on. And I think he is innocent on, but I think it should be safe that they should go ahead and they should figure out how they're gonna go and really build around the draft. But they went ahead and they did get Tyrod Taylor as a plan just in case. And Tyrod Taylor is an underrated quarterback. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. He's very underrated. Like he's basically is a good backup on a good team, but a shaky starter on a shaky team. But hey, if he went ahead and he led a Bills team to the playoffs after an 18-year drought, give him credit. He's kind of underrated, and he basically should just be in the underrated Hall of Fame at this point. But yeah, the Bills. Well, not the Bills. The Texans just need to address so many issues. I'm not even sure how it's gonna work. And you might have. So either way, let's just go on to the next one. And that, of course, we'll go ahead. And we are going to go and work with literally the Colts. And the Colts, they have wide receivers. They have tight ends. Like, this team sets defensively. Hopefully they bring back Malik Hooker. Like, the poor guy just gets injured. But they really just need their issue to really address, like, they have a decent secondary, a decent linebacking core, a decent defensive line. And the team's just basically decent, but the problem is, and the one part I'm gonna have to go ahead and I'm worried about is literally the offensive line. And this is really just, and everyone knows it, because left tackle Anthony Costanzo, he retired this offseason, so now so now at this rate you just need to go ahead and you have to figure out your ideas. So yeah, just go ahead and just find an offensive lineman at this point. I'm not sure. I mean, meanwhile, we have to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this team is just really, I'm not sure what's going to be predicting, because running back are set. They brought in wide receivers. They're bringing in a lot of stuff. A team that could be taken as a rebuilding year, but everyone knows, and I'm gonna actually have to accept my fate here. Everyone knows that the Jaguars are going to take a quarterback. More importantly, a certain blonde-haired quarterback out of Clemson. Now, I'm not going to say his name. We all know Jacksonville's just going to take the guy. And if he does watch this, he should know it. Like, he should know it. Like, they're going to take him. I'm just going to say it straight up. They just need a quarterback. The selection's just been set. The job's basically done. The job of building talent around him is done. Now it's time to go ahead and cash in. Make the wrong pick, and Corvette, you're done. Oh, so yeah, quarterback. Oh yeah, that's all they have to go ahead and do. So I'm willing to go ahead and see that. Meanwhile, we have to talk about the Chiefs, the defending AFC champs. And this one, you have to go ahead and have to look at this. That you need to address the need at tackle, because Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz went oof, as they have officially been. They basically released. They went ahead and they released both of them, and they basically were both good tackles too, giving the Mahomes protection. So now you just need to adjust the offensive line issue. So that's basically the looming issue. Guard wise, basically are decent because Joe Thuney and Kyle Long. But at this rate, I'm not sure. And now the Raiders, with their money offensive line, basically has been dismantled. Ronnie Hudson goes to the Cardinals. There's just, you really need to go ahead and address the defensive line at this rate. Because Derek Carr is going to need it. And Carr's been a good QB. But I just really think Raiders fans just fail to recognize that literally this man, like Derek Carr, just is doing everything he can now. Like he's not, like he's just gonna go ahead and he's gonna go with what the coach tells him to do. Like most coaches, like most teams do. He's not. He basically takes what the defense gives him, and he's not good. He's not like a 500-yard passer. He's decent. So just don't criticize Derek Carr for that. That's just basically my thing. And now we're going to go to the LA Chargers. And now I'm looking at this team, and this team is, well, they're just really hard to talk about. Was very surprised that they went ahead and they fired Anthony Lynn. I mean, Lynn was doing pretty good at head coach. I'm just gonna say straight up, he was doing decent. I don't know. So yeah, them firing him was very surprising. So yeah, I'm much the Chargers. I'm shaking. I'm shaking a little bit about. I mean, tight end wise, they should be set. Wide receiver wise, they are set to a certain extent. They set at defensive line. They basically are just a set team though. But they just need to go ahead and work on the O line, and that's basically my projection is. But keep in mind, gang, the NFL draft once again, it's kind of like it's kind of like it's kind of like a lottery of players. And sometimes players struggle at first, but they turn out to be good players. Honestly, I'm just gonna say we shall see how this is gonna go. But my opinion is Chargers must take an offensive lineman. But I won't be surprised if they take a wide receiver such as Devontae Smith. And meanwhile, speaking on our next team is the Miami Dolphins, who actually just found out that they went ahead and they do have Will Fuller. So that's kind of surprising. So yeah, Texans only have Brandon Cooks. Yikes. So, I mean, I think their best bet, if they were to go ahead and take someone, they need to go ahead and address the need. I mean, offensive line wise, they probably won't do anything about it because I think they believe in their offensive line. They believe in their defensive backs. Hopefully, Hopefully, Jump King Byron Jones can go ahead and he can show that he's still a good corner in the league. Hopefully, also that you can also see also we can see the linebackers get better, defensive line. They believe in what they have. It's just at this rate they have good running backs. It's just now my question is the question for me. I'm just really confused at this point. I mean, they might need an edge, but when you just look at the wide receivers the last season, now when you think about it, the only productive one was Devontae Parker, and even then, Tua Tagovailoa wasn't really throwing it his way that much. So I think your best option, you might take Devontae Smith at this point. I mean, people are literally putting someone like Devontae Smith literally as a mid first round pick when the man's a Heisman Trophy winner. So, but they might take Jamar Chase. I just really think the Dolphins should use their first pick, the first chance to use a pick on a wide receiver, and that guy should be Devontae Smith. Now the Patriots are the next team to talk about, and this team, I really think, is worth noting to talk about because let's talk about them. The Pats went ahead and they had a good cap situation, and they brought in a lot of good players. They brought back some players. They have basically an outside linebacker. Basically brought back basically a lot of members. So hopefully the defense is going to be back to normal. You're going to need to replace Patrick Chung. They're not going to do anything for a quarterback because they believe in Cam Newton, and hopefully Cam's not going to go ahead and really have that. And he can go ahead and he can work with what he has. And hopefully the man makes the Pro Bowl. He's a good QB. People just like to criticize him. Cam hopefully wins. Hopefully wins Comeback Player of the Year. You should have won it this year, but then again, it gives Alex Smith. But I don't blame him because if I don't blame that problem, it's just Alex Smith went ahead and he really came back from something more serious. So I'm just gonna say it straight up. So yeah, I really think that just the big issue for them, they got tight ends, they got an offensive line. They really just got themselves set. I think the problem is that it's wide receivers for them. It's been wide receiver issues in 2010s. That's been an issue in the 2010s much. Even the late ones with Brady. Brady only had Edelman to throw to, and now Edelman retired. So now, what do you do? Devontae Harry on what's his name? Devontae Harry? No, the Patriots. But I know that that wide receiver guy named Harry. They need to go. He needs to break out. Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne were brought in, but I'm not sure. Yaptamir Bird, who worked with Cam Newton, so I think it's some decent. At least he's decent. But now you just want to go ahead and, if you're them, just bring in a wide receiver, and you need a speedster. I'd recommend Jalen Waddle. He can go ahead and he can work with as a good option, and he can really work with N'Keal Harry on this one. Okay, yeah, that was his name, N'Keal Harry. Okay, yeah. Now the Jets are now next, and it's obvious that they're gonna take a quarterback too. So, but all you had to guys do was literally I'm just gonna go ahead and say it straight up. If you literally went ahead and you didn't beat the Rams, all you had to do was do not beat the Rams. I think I'm pretty sure that I'm just gonna say it straight up. Jets fans are just kicking themselves for losing out on the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes just because of their kicker. So I think he went ahead and he probably screwed his team over uh of the chance to get Trevor Lawrence. But hey, they get Zach Wilson apparently. So that's probably so that QB thing is set. So yeah, new head coach. They get new QB. But I have a feeling that the Jets are probably gonna go ahead and screw basically these draft picks up. I don't know. They always literally was literally just it's very interesting to talk about. Yeah. I'm just gonna say it straight up. Other than that, I really just the Jets need to go ahead and figure out their issues. As long as they basically don't ruin Zach Wilson, I'll be fine. The next guy now we have to go with the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans, well, you're gonna go ahead and need to take a wide receiver because Derrick Henry, he's a good running back. I don't know what's up with the idea of going ahead and adding in the jersey thing. That's just it feels so stupid if you ask me. And well, yeah, they just need to really work on that wide receiver part because there's the teams for them is kind of set except wide receiver. Lose Corey Davis to the Jets. So now you just need to go ahead and adjusting at wide receiver. You need a wide receiver too because AJ Brown's a good receiver, but he can only do so much at this point. I mean, meanwhile, the Steelers are up, and they really need to just adjust the offensive line because let's just say because with Marquise Pouncey's saying going now officially going off to Cancun, him and Mike, so that's gonna be right now a very surprising retirement from both of them. And I thought they probably would made it to 2025, but no time this early. I was like, God damn. Besides that, that's just the Steelers also got to go ahead and just need to work on the offensive line stuff. So now, other than that, they're just a really set team. Except they might need to get no, they don't really need Justin at quarterback because they have Big Ben. They're gonna bring back Big Ben. Boo. Now on to the NFC. And of course, we have to go ahead and talk about this team. And they need to go ahead and they need to address a corner. And they have good wide receivers. I mean, the wide receiving core literally consists of DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, AJ Green, and Larry Fitzgerald. So really, they already have their wide receiver room set. So I don't really see any idea of getting them getting a wide receiver. They do need a tight end. I mean, tight end isn't. They do need a tight end, but that's not really like the big priority from, in my opinion. I think that's the priority for them is to get a corner because Pat Pete went ahead and he decided to leave, and that's a big move because the longtime Pro Bowl standout for the Cards literally was the only reason how they were able to get the job done. And then, so this the big thing you need to address is just corner. And now we get to go to the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta, Atlanta, Atlanta. Oh, Atlanta. Now this team, they just got a new head coach, and they have wide receivers, they have tight ends. People are saying just take Kyle Pitts, but I do not think Kyle Pitts is a good option for the Atlanta Falcons because they already have a good tight end. They just one tight end right now is enough for them. Now, with one tight end being enough, I think it's best to go ahead and think about Matt Ryan's future because Matt Ryan is basically now like 30, like, I don't know, how old is he? 34? 35? Like, he's basically in his mid 30s, and heaven knows if he can keep playing for right now. So the best, I mean, realistically, it's better to go ahead and just need to address defense for sure. Like, you need to address defense. That's like the top priority in my opinion. Just anything on defense at this point is just a top priority. But I will not be surprised if they take a quarterback. If they do take Kyle Pitts, I'll be very disappointed because it's just they're trying to go ahead and literally address. Like, honestly, Kyle Pitts isn't a need. He's a want. And honestly, that's what this team it that's what basically the Falcons need to just address defense at this point. I'm saying it, keeping it straight. Corner, they have AJ Terrell, but they need someone to complement him, or maybe just I think maybe just linebacker, assuming Deion Jones is there. Assuming Deion Jones is not there, but I think for sure defensive line is something you have to go ahead and think about. There's just need to go ahead and just think about defensive line. Or they can just go ahead and they can take this pick to go ahead and develop a QB. And just really go ahead and literally just give him some time to develop under a good QB. Like, I won't be surprised if they take Trey Lance in that opinion. So that's my take on the Falcons. Now the next thing we're gonna talk about is literally the fact it's the Carolina Panthers. In my opinion on this one, as a Panthers fan, we have offensive line. I know that basically need that left tackle. I know this for a fact. It's just But the problem is, getting a left tackle would need to go ahead and wait until the second round because right now, does the thing I would say that the Panthers need to addressing linebacker is something that you need to do because Jeremy Chin is gonna be versatile at that, but Shaq Thompson's kind of lost at that part because I'm gonna say it straight up, Luke Kuechly left a big hole, and Tahir Whitehead didn't live up to that expectation as a linebacker. So the best thing you need to do if you're a Panthers fan, or just or just basically, if you're a Panther, you want to adjust linebacker. That's that's a good option. But for, like you can adjust linebacker, you can adjust quarterback. You could adjust quarterback, but they went ahead. But if I went ahead, I would have said it before the Sam Darnold trade happened. I would have said it, but Sam Darnold just got traded to Carolina, so sucks to be me. So they can just adjust for a backup QB, like in the late rounds. They can sell as someone to go ahead and gives, literally give Sam Darnold some QB insurance. But I think the best pick they need to address is at tight end because the Panthers, they need a tight end. And the pick, I would say, and this is where Kyle Pitts, like I said from earlier, it's a good idea. Because, I'm going to say it straight up, Kyle Pitts isn't a want, he's a need in Carolina. I'm saying it, like, you might think guys are thinking, oh, he's biased. But I think the Panthers need to take Kyle Pitts. If the Falcons steal him, I will be very disappointed. I'll settle on the offensive lineman, but I think it's too hard to pass up Kyle Pitts of all people. He's literally they literally need to go ahead and literally have to go ahead and just he needs to step up. Like literally Kyle tight end's just a step up point at this one. So Kyle Pitts, if he comes to Carolina, I'll be very happy. That's the only thing I can do. The only thing you can hope for is just go ahead and just really hope or pray that he just comes there. Now the Bears are up next, and I have very skepticism. I think they just need to address a need at. I think they just really need to address the need at QB. I mean, Andy Dalton, with all due respect, he's a good quarterback, but I'm very skeptical about how he's going to do. I mean, if he does pretty good and he basically shows and he goes back and he becomes Red Rifle Andy Dalton, then I want to say this one. But there's a good chance that the Bears should just take a quarterback. I won't be surprised if they address the offensive line. They could address wide receiver. They could address anything. Like I'm not sure. Like the Bears are just they're okay, but they're not spectacular. They don't have like something that stands out. Like safety wise, and like corner maybe, but they just got rid of Kyle Fuller. And safety wise, they have Eddie Jackson, but we'll try how that's gonna work. And meanwhile, you have to also talk about the next team up on the board, and that is America's team. How about them Cowboys? And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it straight up. I'm just gonna say it straight up. The thing that they need to address is corner because quarterback wise, They inked Dak Prescott hugely. I'm hoping that this man can live up to the contract. I just really think he just needs to go ahead and he needs to play like he was playing in 2020. But then again, sometimes contracts can get the best of people. Hopefully, people just realize it's just a stupid contract. But I don't know how much does Jerry Jones figure this out. Like Jerry Jones, it's interesting. I'm just gonna say it straight somewhat. I'm not, but I'm just gonna say straight up. If the Cowboys make the playoffs, it can make a Super Bowl run. People just really just think expectations that Prescott's contract is gonna really make him a lot of money. Like he's basically, I'll tell you straight up, he basically is making a lot of money in this first season, like 75 million from what I've been told, on a guaranteed, on a 4-year, $160 million deal. Like, it's gonna be very interesting. Either way, the Cowboys have their quarterback set, they have their running back set, offensive line set, wide receiver set, tight end set. The best thing you can really do at this point is to go ahead, is to take a corner, because Byron Jones left a big hole in the defense. I'm gonna say straight up, Trayvon Diggs, he's decent, but he needs to go ahead, and he needs, like, they basically need a decent corner just to complement him. Linebacker Leighton Vander Esch, I'm hoping is basically lives up to his thing. I'm not sure. We'll see. That's what I'm gonna say. We'll see. We'll see. And meanwhile, we have to talk about the next team, the Detroit Lions. And this team, this is going to be a very good. This is going to be very interesting. Like, I did not expect this team to really just have go from. They basically kind of downgraded from a quarterback wise. Well, with all due respect to Jared Goff, he's a good QB. So they just really, at this range, just need to go ahead and just really need to upgrade the defense first. Wide receivers should be an option. I think they went ahead and they franchise tag him. Lucky guys, I do not know. I do not know how the how Lions are going to address this one, but for this best one, I think it's best to address defense. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and just now think about this. And now we have to go to the Green Bay Packers. The team of the Cheeseheads, and one of the best teams possibly to work with. They have a quarterback, Nate, that's the reigning MVP, Aaron Rodgers. PTSD from when you go ahead and you see Aaron Rodgers just dotted all over people. It's literally like 2020 Aaron Rodgers, I think, did better than possibly had a good season. He probably could have thrown 50 passing touchdowns. He was so close to it too. 48. They do. Running back wise are set. Offensive line wise are set. This is like a good set team. Like corner they can address. But for me, my take is they need to get a wide receiver. And that's because it's this. Devontae Adams is just one man. And Devontae Adams is just one dude. And he's like the only, like, it was him and Aaron Jones. It's him and Aaron Jones as Rodgers' only good targets. Alan Lazard, he's sketchy. He's a wide receiver 3. Just give Rodgers a wide receiver 2, and he's taking off. But then again, now Rodgers knows, and Packers fans do know, Rodgers' time in Green Bay is starting to become numbered because any moment now, there's gonna be a big bag second-year man out of Utah going by the name of Jordan Love, who's gonna take over eventually. History could repeat itself once again. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but hopefully the Packers can just adjust wide receiver at this point. Now we need to go ahead. We need to talk about the Rams, who always figure it out. They're going to figure this out. So I'm gonna say it straight. They're going to figure out how this is going to work. How they're going to go ahead and address the first round. I mean, they never pick in the first round usually, and so far, and that's just so far in the Sean McVay era. They basically got Matthew Stafford. And they went ahead and they also went ahead and they have running backs, they have wide receivers, they have offense is set. I think that's the best thing you need to do is just maybe go ahead. You can maybe just go ahead and literally get this seems very set. I mean, this is very difficult to think. I would say maybe focus on defensive tackle. With all due respect to Aaron Donald, he's the best defensive player right now there is in the league. I'm just gonna say straight up, if you just really just get a defensive tackle just to complement him, it's gonna be a party up in the front seven, and teams realize it's not gonna be good just to face the Rams. But then again, corner is also a good option because of losing Troy Hill. They can also just need to going ahead and picking up guys. They can address linebacker, but they probably won't. But they can address offensive line, cause I don't know. I'm so say straight. I don't know what to do. Meanwhile, we just move on to the Vikings. We just need to go ahead and we need to talk about this situation. I need to address an offensive line situation because Kirk Cousins is a good QB. No cap about it. People just love to hate Kirk Cousins because he has a winning mentality that people seem to underestimate. I would say overestimate, but then again, I'm not sure how. But sometimes I kind of don't give a beam about sometimes. But he can be underestimated. Just get him a good offensive lineman, adjust some needs at defense, and you're good. That's all I gotta say. Now on to the Saints. And they need to address. Now this is just very sketchy. Because for the first time, I've never seen this is a Saints team that is led without Drew Brees. As a Panthers fan, I'm happy that Drew Brees retired. A rip. But hopefully, this division title streak is just going to come to an end. But I'm just going to say, with the arrival, I'll say straight up, the Saints now have to go ahead and figure out their QB issue. And well, yeah, they have to figure out QB, but they brought in Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. Running back, they're good. Wide receivers, okay at. Like, the best thing they can really just address is corner because of basically their top three, their top, like, three of their corners are going to go ahead and hit the market. Basically after 2021. So I think it's just best to just get another corner just in case. That's just basically all the Saints what they can do. And then the Giants, they need to go ahead and upgrade the defense because they have adjusted their needs at wide receiver. So I'm not really surprised there. So either way, you can just I really just the Giants wise, the New York Giants, they just need to go ahead and just adjust. Just adjust the needed defensive at on the defense, and you're fine. The Eagles are up next, and my take is to go ahead and he needs to go ahead. He needs to go and just basically work with just he can focus on defense. Jalen Hurts is locked in. Wide receiver, what? There's just so many holes for this Eagles team now, which is very surprising. I think the Eagles went ahead and just didn't look at it smartly. Dumbos. So just need to adjust in a corner. Best they can do. Best they can do. Meanwhile, the 49ers are on the clock for this one, and my take is literally it's really just best if you really just take if you're the 49ers. Like my take for this one, you just address the need at defense corner at this point, but that's my take because they need to adjust defense. Get themselves a corner. Wide receiver, they're good at. Tight end, they're good. Defensive line, they're good. But people are just saying, just take a quarterback. And I'm not. And the 49ers are selecting the number 3 overall. And I've tried to go ahead and I try to make Reese feel better. I'm like, hopefully, be seeing more Jimmy G. But I'm just gonna say, Poole only knows what the 49ers are up to. They might take a quarterback, but I don't know who. And that I'm kind of go ahead. I'm officially shaking my boots on. I don't know. 49ers are just a really hard team to talk about at this point. Either way, the next team to talk about is the Seattle Seahawks. And that, of course, is the fact that they need addressing that corner. Because, let's just say, when you literally have Pro Bowl corner Shaquille Griffin bid farewell for Jacksonville, and he's going to go ahead and go under the Urban Meyer rebuild, Pete Carroll's going to have to go ahead, and he's going to have to figure this out. People are just saying that the Seahawks are going to miss the playoffs this year, but I won't be surprised if they can. I won't be surprised if they do get the winning record. So just in that corner, I think they're good there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just say it straight up. If you're really just pretty much the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you would have to go ahead. I'm thinking, like, if you just him at this point, well, you should just go ahead and you should just get make maybe the offensive line. because defensive line for the Buccaneers, I'm not sure. They brought back all 32 of their starters, so this team's set. Like they have no weakness, but just focus on the pass rush because let's just say when you have literally Jason Pierre-Paul might be leaving after this season, we don't know. So they might address the for the pass rush because so that's basically what they need to go ahead and do. Meanwhile, the final one you have to talk about now is the Washington football team, which this team I'm very surprised to see. I mean, they went ahead and they brought some very good signings. When I thought they were about to when I'm just gonna say straight up, when I thought that Curtis Samuel was gonna go to the Jacksonville Jaguars to join the rebuild of that infamous Trevor Lawrence rebuild thing, I was very ticked. But hey, if he's going to, but if they went ahead and he decided to pull a psych, and he's coming back for another round this time, and I'm happy with Washington, and in my solid opinion, I really think that Washington is just very questionable to work with. I mean, offensive lines are good. They have good wide receivers. Tight ends okay. Like this team is very difficult to really project. I mean, they can work on the defensive line a bit more. The secondary the secondary and linebackers are going to need some work definitely. So expect them to take a part in that position, but I won't be surprised if they also go ahead and they take a QB in this one as well because Ryan Fitzpatrick's there, and Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't much of a set one. He just give Fitz some competition, and literally he's gonna go ahead and make the most of it. He's gonna fight it off straight up. So my take is that literally Washington may take a QB, but I will not be surprised if they take a linebacker or a corner. So that's basically my take of the NFL of what each team might need to address. My opinion is what each team needs to address at in the NFL draft. Well, either way, I think that's gonna be it because this is probably this is like the longest podcast episode I've done in a while. And first of all, this was a good one. I've talked about basically a lot of things. Hopefully you guys didn't go ahead and didn't sleep out of this one. Because you did. They went ahead and they there's too much you can really just talk about at this point. And we could see lots of the NFL draft. But I can't really judge stuff. There's only much you can really do. But first of all, thank you guys so much for going ahead and watching this episode or listening to this episode of the Browns Comparisons podcast. I said watching. Dang it. If you guys went ahead and enjoyed this podcast, please sure to leave a like and comment down below on your take of the NFL draft and all this stuff. And also, if you're basically new to to basically seeing this podcast channel, please subscribe. Nail those notifications so you guys won't miss basically whenever I release another episode. And I'm also go ahead and say once again, please also subscribe to my main channel. We'll have it at the end. And once again, also follow me on Twitch, which I should basically have my social stuff down below in the description. So, other than that, this is Brown DC, and thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for watching the Browns Comparisons podcast. And just remember just to fly high like an eagle and keep pounding like a panther. But before we also go, but once again, shout out to the OFL for going ahead and basically are getting ready to go ahead and go into the playoff part. And also some breaking news. I'm just finding out here. There's also some breaking news about they're going to be adding a signing deadline and a release deadline. Well, of course, I'm saying straight up. If they're adding basically a new rule from what I've been reading. Basically, instead of having promoting and helping 500 teams at least get more players in. So this should be very interesting to see. But I'll go ahead and I'll talk about it. That's also straight up. So OFL is releasing a new signing thing, which should be something for so there's gonna be a new rule. Trade stop makes the new trading thing, and after week 6, all players will walk to their teams and may not be traded or released. And for 4 teams under 500, they are going to add they're gonna go ahead and produce a little thing for that could go ahead and help get 500 teams under 500 from not really, so at least try to getting a good chance, making it more competitive. So from the looks of this, and there's also some other things to really mention. Other than that, shout out to basically the AFL for finishing, and for getting ready to go ahead and announce season stuff. Oh yeah, I didn't also mention this, but oh yeah, they also are gonna go ahead and also have teams, but that's in the next episode of the Browns Comparisons podcast. I'm not sure how it's. We'll introduce some stuff, but thank you guys so much for watching, for listening in, and I'll see you next time. Saddle up, saddle out, peace out. Let's go.